So, Dee, tell me about this walking you did with your treadmill because you texted me last week and said, "Look where I walked."
Yeah, I was hiking through the Lake Country, the Lake District in England, in the UK. And this guy all of a sudden says, "Hey, I got something to show you," because you walk with someone on your screen.
I was going to
And
say,
he
this is on a
goes,
screen. It's a program. You pay for this, right?
"Yeah, I pay, it's Fit is the name of the company, and you can walk all over the world, which is kind of fun." And anyway, we went up to some very, very old yew trees, which are called the yew trees of Borrowdale. And they're famous because they're like a
Oh,
thousand, or I don't know, 500 years old, really old.
that's
And they are so old, William Wordsworth wrote a poem about them
nice.
because he was sitting under those same trees writing. Isn't that cool?
That is very cool. I'll have to check into that because I am soon not going to be walking outside, soon going to be walking inside. Well, not soon. It's still in the 80s out there. But let's get started on this episode. We can talk more about
It's
that.
nice here today. It's only 77, but it was hot all week. Anyway, enough about the weather. Welcome to the Garden Angelus, where we chat about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I'm Dee Nash from Guthrie, Oklahoma, where I still have a, it's too large, a too large garden out in the country.
And I'm Carol Michael from Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a suburban garden measured in square feet. It's about a third of an acre, which Dee considers to be the perfect size for a garden.
I've never said that. We are Garden Angelus because we love gardening and we want you to love it too. But I do love Carol's garden. I have seen it.
Yes, we do. And we aren't afraid to tell all of our gardening secrets, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. But let's move on to this week's episode.
Hey,
Hello,
Carol.
Dee.
I was buttoning my sleeves. Um, so what's up? I haven't talked to you all week.
I know, you're
Been
so
busy.
busy. It's well, we had a hot summer like week here, so I did a lot of watering. I did
We did too.
mow in front, especially where I water. In the back, I just mowed and I actually picked up leaves and put them around. Um, Picked a few tomatoes. I cleared out my pumpkin vines. I cleared out the scarlet runner bean vines. And did I mention that I watered? Yeah, I watered.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a
Yeah,
few of
too.
hummingbirds. They're going to be gone pretty soon, and I got stung by a stupid wasp.
Oh gosh.
I was doing
I hate
nothing.
getting stung. It's really awful.
Those are those European paper wasps that just come out of nowhere because you went too close to their fence or something, my fence, and then they just like anyway.
They're just
Uh,
grouchy girls. That's what they are.
I
Grouchy, grouchy
guess.
girls.
And then by the back door where I leave a light on all night, there's some huge spiders that like to make a big web there because they're going to catch other bugs to eat. And I'm like,
Sure.
okay, I just like remove the web and say, you need to go play someplace else. But anyway, we'll talk about more about lights later on in this episode. But anyway, so, that's kind of it for the most part.
So I wrote not much to update, but then I had three paragraphs. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
oh
So I
God.
did some weeding on Monday. I kept things watered also here and at the greenhouse because it was hot. And we had a touch of rain. By the way, they listen to us. When they go out and do people's plantings, they listen to us in
Oh,
the truck.
hey.
I cracked up. They go, "Do you hear your voice?" And I went, "No." And I walked up there and there was our voices. It was very weird. It
That
was a
is
weird
weird.
moment. Anyway, let's see. We had a little bit of rain, didn't amount to much, but it just kind of wet the pollen. But I was down in the pollen, which is why my voice is all screwy because I had to help drag Bill out of a ditch. He was on a tractor, one of the garden tractors, and he was in a ditch. And so anyway, I was down there by the stupid ragweed, which I heard from uh, Aaron at the greenhouse. I heard that Oklahoma is considered the worst state for ragweed this year. We made the national news.
Possibly. We are the worst state right
Oh,
now without any rain for probably a month, except for maybe like a
that's what I've
half
heard.
inch.
Yeah,
We have those
that's called
no zoned.
summer in Oklahoma. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
it's not normal here. But we had these no zone action days where the air pollution is terrible.
We get those too. In the
Yeah.
summer, not this summer though. We didn't have a single one. We had rain instead.
We didn't have any until
Um,
recently.
I worked on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is great because I have lots of questions of the week now because people ask me lots of
Good.
questions. So let's see. I worked on my drip system on the deck yesterday. And so when I do that, I thought the whole thing just wasn't working right. And I could tell they were too dry. And I was like, what is wrong with you people? And so I went out there, and the first, I thought I'd tell people real quick what I do. The first thing I do is I check the timer because the timer can either go bad or need a battery. And it has been water woe. In fact, it's going to be my newsletter this week. Water woes in the garden because this whole summer has been that way. So I checked that first. It was fine. In fact, it was new. And then I made sure it was on automatic because sometimes they get twisted slightly when they come on. And that wasn't it either. So then I went around and looked at all the drip emitters, and all of the drip emitters had suddenly stopped themselves up. I think
Really?
they just get a little speck of dust in them.
Yeah. And
And
then
so
they're like, no, I'm not doing the water anymore. I have dust in me.
I'm done. And so I undid them all, unscrewed them all, and they all got them all going. I've still got two to fix because I needed a new emitter for one. And the other one, I don't know if I cut that line in half. I don't know what happened. Anyway, so there's that. I go pot by pot, and they're about, I've really reduced the number of pots up there, but there's still a good 10. That's a lot.
That
That's
is a
hot.
lot.
So then let's see. Oh, just I'm going to end it with this. Something really nice is the ladies who wait on us at Masa Ramen and Sushi, the place we eat every Monday or Tuesday. Um, one of them gave me a crown of thorns for my birthday, and the other one gave
Nice.
me an orchid.
Very
That
nice.
I may have mentioned the crown of thorns before, but the orchid was just last
Yeah,
week.
I heard
A
about the crown of
big,
thorns. Nice.
big, beautiful white orchid. It's so sweet of
Beautiful.
them.
Beautiful. Well, let's play favorites today.
Okay, you go first because I jabbered a lot.
So my favorite this week is the marigolds. In spite of the heat, in spite of me not watering them, they are
They're pretty cool.
glorious and beautiful. Haven't seen any red spider mites on them. They look great. They're pumping out color. And my favorite, of course, are the Signet marigolds, and they're out by the mailbox, and they seem to just be chugging right along. And I started those from seeds, and they were tiny little babies when I put them in,
I
and they look
know.
great.
I
So that's
know
my
all my
favorite.
marigolds. They're about done, but they were just fabulous this year. They were in spite of the rain. So, and my favorite are the big tall African ones. But anyway, okay, my favorite this week is this little section by my garage. I sent you a picture of it, Carol.
I saw it.
And it's my little devil nine bark I planted this year. And then tattoo periwinkles, tattoo's the variety. And the other one were the periwinkles that are cascade. And a lot of people, most of the time you see those used in pots to cascade over the edge, and they
Right?
are fabulous. And deer don't eat them. But this time I used them as a ground cover and it worked great.
Yeah,
Sometimes things work.
yeah.
What?
So the little periwinkles or vincas, I call them, they are once you get them going and they like to go into warm soil in the spring. So they're one of the last things the greenhouse has ready to sell.
Yeah, don't plant them early or they'll get that weird disease they get.
They just
They
kind of chug
die.
along all summer without much fuss or bother and go well into the fall, I think. So I didn't plant
Yeah,
any
but
this
I've
year. I
never,
regret it.
do you plant the ones that you just grow like kind of straight up?
I planted both before.
So I want to make sure people know that we're talking about the tropical vinca,
Yes,
not the perennial vinca.
correct.
Although it grows gangbusters, it's just unfortunately almost, I would say, extremely aggressive in Oklahoma. We're actually using some of it in pots, which works really well. We're using it the one that's variegated in pots. It looks great for fall. But anyway, these are just the regular vinca. They're so cute. I love them.
All right. Question of the week. Now, you said you had a bunch of questions. I kind of
This is a
had to
good
make
one
up a
though.
question.
No, this is good because of our book.
Oh, it is good because of our book. So the question is, when can I plant bulbs for tulips, daffodils? Because you see them at Menards, you see them at Costco, people are buying them. And so I say don't plant them.
Not
In
yet.
my case, I wait until Halloween.
And I wait until Thanksgiving. Or you can wait as late as the first week of December. I'm waiting for the weather to cool off a little
Yes,
bit.
you want the soil to be cool, you want the weather to be cool, but you want to give them a chance to kind of grow some roots and get established a little bit before it just goes hard freeze on everything. But
Yeah. And
I will always have somebody ask me in December and January, is it too late to plant my bulbs?
is it?
It is a little bit late, but I tell them the alternative is to do nothing and then you're
And
getting
then
no
they'll die.
flowers. Spend a
Hmm.
little bit of time, go ahead and tuck those in. If the soil's not frozen and you can still dig, I would get them in the ground. That's what I tell people.
I would in December. January, you're really pushing it, but December's okay because they might have shorter stems, but they'll be fine. They really
Yeah.
will.
Okay.
Okay, here's our insect of the week. Um, and I thought it looked like a fritillary caterpillar, but anyway, pansy worms.
I have never heard of these, D. It's the stuff of nightmares.
Well, it's not the stuff of nightmares in your garden. They're the infant larval stage of the variegated fritillary butterfly, which I have quite a few of in my garden, but I have never ever seen any damage on my pansies or I mean, Lord knows I have plenty of violets, and that's another host plant, right?
Right?
But in a greenhouse situation, they would be a problem, sort of like cabbage moths.
Right.
Cabbage moth caterpillars can be a problem too. And they can even be a problem in my garden if it's still pretty warm when you put in those decorative cabbages for fall. But anyway, they look a lot like the Gulf fritillary caterpillar.
Uh-huh.
And I saw some and moved them on to other pastures when I was working the other day.
Ah, good on you. Good on you.
Well, because they will hurt the plants, so we can't have that.
Yeah. Well, I've never
They
seen them.
also they also feed on you wrote this down. They also feed on other plants in the violet family, such as violets, duh, Johnny jump ups, and they can also be found on passion flower vines, which is interesting because that's the larval host plant for Gulf fritillary.
Right.
And then do you want to talk about their key? I mean, they're orange and kind of black.
Which is kind of a good color for Halloween.
It is. They were a little spooky there for a day. Anyway, they're really cool. I'm not saying they're a bad insect. They're just an insect.
Okay. Well, I've obviously heard of fritillary caterpillars. I was going to
Sure,
make our insect of the week the zebra swallowtail.
because we're talking about the letter Z, which you can go right
Exactly.
ahead. Go ahead and do that.
Well, it's just a black and white striped butterfly. I'm sure you've seen them around. I've seen them around and
Absolutely not. They are extremely rare in the state of Oklahoma.
really,
Occasionally, someone sees one, but it is very rare. And with all the butterflies I have, no, I've never ever seen one. Are they pretty, Carol?
yeah, I've seen them. Actually, I have a picture of one. I think that's what it is. And I actually took the picture in Virginia at Monticello, the home of Thomas Jefferson, eons ago.
Mhm.
I'll have to find it. But it says I felt this was interesting because I have pawpaws, and it says that they are closely associated with pawpaws and are rarely found very far from these trees. So now
So if
it's
I grew
like,
some pawpaws, maybe I would have some.
yes, I have two pawpaw trees, so
Probably
that's
not going to do that at this
no,
stage of my
no, you're
life.
probably not going to grow any pawpaws.
No, there are other trees I want more, but I think pawpaws are cool and they have a cool fruit.
Yeah, and I had fruit on my pawpaws this year, and I hope the raccoons enjoyed them because they ate all of them.
So I'm just going to settle for the giant swallowtail instead
There you
because my
go.
garden this year is covered in those babies, covered. And they're so
Yes,
huge and they just go, they flit around. Well, they don't flit. They gracefully float around in the
yes,
wind because they're so
yes.
doggone big. Do you have those?
Yeah, I think we do.
Cool. You want to do the quote?
The art of happiness lies in the power of extracting happiness from common things. Henry Ward Beecher. True that.
Hmm. So, flowers. Oh, zephyranthes, rain lilies.
Why did you say, oh, Zephyranthes, rain lily? Why did you say it like that? All bored.
I mean, I just have trouble growing them here, but I can grow them. I wrote down there that I can't grow them. That's not true. I used to have them in the lower garden. They just
So
don't bloom very much here.
here, I used to have some and I grew them in a container. And actually, my aunt, who's been deceased for 12 or 13 or 14, 15 years, I guess, she had given me some. And so it's just a little bulb, and you take your little pot of them and stick them in the garage for the winter and then bring them back out, and boom, you've got
Hmm.
them. But for
I
whatever
had the
reason,
Candida ones. That's the
yeah,
kind I had. Yeah.
mine, well, the reason I don't have them is they are up to zone 7
Yeah.
and they just wouldn't do here. But they said in the right climate, they can naturalize in your lawn, which would be kind of cool.
They do that down in Austin. Our friends
So,
in Austin all have the yellow one and the pink one both.
well, I've only really seen the pink one, and if I would grow them again. I would get a pot of them to grow again. If I was placing an order and saw rain lilies on there, I thought, oh, I'll just throw a couple of those in my cart, get a few
Yeah,
of them to try again. I thought they were pretty. And the reason they call them rain lilies is because they
they
often would bloom
bloom,
after the rain,
which is why the people of Austin love them so much.
if they get rain.
Yeah.
Zephyranthes, also called the zephyr lily.
Yep. So you named several places you can get them. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I saw that Southern Bulb Company has them for sale, and then I will link to a Missouri Botanic Garden article about them, their plant
Yeah.
profile. So, anyway,
I find the
z-
almost white ones with a little bit of a pink reverse to be very simple to
those,
grow.
yeah, they're pretty. We could not do Z without zinnias.
Oh, okay.
And
What do you want to say?
well,
I
I
feel
put
like
in the
I've
show
talked,
notes.
I
Take
feel
it
like I've
away,
talked
Dee.
them to death. Um, I've grown a ton of them and they've done really well here this year. And there's lots of ways to grow them. I think didn't I do a little Substack on them? I think I did. On
Oh,
all
you
the ways
probably did.
yeah,
I
I
will say
did. Like
this,
grow zinnias like a flower farmer. Yeah, I did. I
and
did.
I would also say that zinnias are one of the best plants because they're blooming now, and they're still a nectar source. The
Hmm.
butterflies are all over them, so
They
that
do
makes
love
them
them.
really nice. I do love that little tiny zinnia angustifolia. I did not grow any. Let me just say, I grew a couple of seedlings, but I did not take care of them, and they did not make it out there. So I would definitely grow those again next year because I miss
Those are the
them.
white and the yellow and
And they just kind of you don't have to deadhead them, and you just let them grow.
mhm.
They're a ground covery type thing.
We should also talk about the profusion series. We haven't done that. So the zinnias I grow are the tall ones, the zinnia elegans, but there's the profusion ones, which are shorter, almost mildew resistant,
Mm-hmm.
easy to grow. I don't know why my voice is going away. Probably
I
because
don't
I
know.
was out in the ragweed. You
I,
finish up.
so the Zinnia angustifolia, I'm sorry, the profusion ones, oh, up at the greenhouse, they sell these in short
Six
8-inch
packs.
pots with three
Mm-hmm.
in a thing, and you can just plop them into a container. Or I've split them out and planted them directly in the ground, and they've done really well. You don't have to do a lot of deadheading to them. I think you can go in and deadhead if you just want to kind of clean them out a little bit, but they'll just keep blooming and blooming and blooming, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll go right to frost for you. So I do like the profusion zinnias.
They're nice. They're nice short zinnia. I like the profusion cherry. I think it's pretty color.
Yes.
Okay, and I know I don't sound enthusiastic about them, and I am very. In fact, I'm looking at them right now. I just feel like I've talked about them a lot. All right, you
Okay.
want to talk about calla lilies? That's one of my sisters-in-law. That's Sharon's favorite flower. You don't know about Sharon. She's married to Leo. Keep going.
Okay. Xantadesia.
Deschia.
It's Ethiopia. Ika. They're from, yeah, Africa.
They're from Ethiopia
Yeah.
because it's Ethiopica. Oh, I can't believe I did it. It's because I practiced. So they're beautiful. They aren't my thing. You talk about them.
So I think they're very beautiful, and they are, if you are planting them in your garden or my garden, you have to dig them up in the fall because they are hardy to zone 8. But in the
Right.
right spot, in the right variety, my neighbor's catty corner across the street, I went over there one day and they have this beautiful patch of yellow calla lilies that's growing on their, I guess, the utility side of the house. It faces west.
Yeah.
It may just
Yeah.
get so warm there that it just, they have never dug them up and they just keep coming back. So,
Good for
that's,
them.
but otherwise you buy them and you can buy them as a potted plant and they often sell them as a house plant or at the florist already in bloom. So, and then I
Huh.
just went down a minor little rabbit hole because I thought
You did. You did. Two
calla
of my
lilies.
favorite actresses.
Well, calla lilies always reminded me of Audrey Hepburn. And she has recorded that Gardens of the World, which I
It
have
was a
on
great
VHS
series.
down here,
Yeah, VHS of all things. Me
which,
too.
and I have it on DVD. And you can watch a very rough video of it on YouTube. It's not very good quality. But when I went to look up what did she say about them, I ran into a quote by Katharine Hepburn, and she said, "The calla lilies are in bloom again, such a strange flower, suitable to any occasion. I carried them on my wedding day, and now I place them here in memory of something that has died." And that was in a movie called The Stage Door from 1937.
I think I've seen that movie. I'm a big fan. So,
The stage door, it's about aspiring actresses in New York City and their
yes,
com it's
trying to
a
make it.
comedy. Lucille Ball is in that.
And she was a really amazing actress even before
And
she
that
became
concludes the letter
I Love
Z
Lucy
in the
flower category.
that but yeah, I was trying to think what category was that? So you do a quote and we'll go take ourselves into vegetables.
I sit beside the fire and think of all that I have seen of meadow flowers and butterflies in summers that have been. I sit beside the fire and think of people long ago and people who will see a world that I shall never know. That's by J.R.R. Tolkien. I don't know which book it's from, but
I don't know, but I got to sit there and think about that.
about people that will be seeing a world that we know. I mean, personally, a little worried for them, but that's okay.
Yeah, a lot worried for him.
Vegetables. We're still in the Z's in vegetables. Zucchini, summer squash. What can we say that's new? Is what you
Nothing. Move on.
nothing. We're moving on. We don't want to talk about zucchini anymore. All right, zebra striped tomatoes. Those are really pretty. I
Yes,
love
and
purple
I
zebra.
love that purple zebra, the All America selection. We got seeds a few years ago, and now it's on my, okay, this one goes in the garden every year because they're a little bit smaller, almost a have a little pointed end. I really love them.
Like a big grape currant tomato because they're pretty big. But you know how
They
grape currants
are,
have that little point on the end?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a little smaller than
Yeah.
an egg.
So purple zebra is way better than green zebra, in my opinion. And I grew
Yes,
another zebra striped tomato this year. I couldn't tell you what the variety was. It was just okay. It was one of the few tomatoes that worked this year. Everywhere I go that people see me and want to talk, they recognize me from Instagram or something. They
right?
always go, "This was the worst tomato year."
It
I mean,
was
there's been
pretty
like
bad.
five of them. And I'm like, yes, yes, it was.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
say yes. Yes, it has been a terrible.
So
And
how do we
I don't those people that like have this big counter full of tomatoes, I'm like, watch yourself. Wasn't like that for everybody.
Okay, how do you pronounce Ginger's name, botanical name?
I would
Is it
say
Zingiber or is it,
Zingiber, Zingiber. Zingiber officinale is ginger,
yeah,
and it is a tropical plant.
yep,
You can get it
has little rhizomes.
almost gets
Wow.
3 feet tall. And it said, and I looked this up on Old Farmer's Almanac, but I could have looked it up in our book from last week, Your Asian Veggie Patch. She's got a real nice section about growing ginger. And
Hmm.
you could grow it as a potted plant this in your
Sure.
garden. And it says it would go to 3 to 4 feet tall And the rhizome clump, because it's those rhizomes that you harvest, would
Yep.
spread 1 to 2 feet. So you would want to get a big container.
Very large pot.
And then you would
And
have
I would say
tons of ginger.
I would also put it in a plastic pot so that because you're gonna harvest it, so you got to turn it on its side, and it's a big old pot, right? And you're gonna have
Yes.
to push on it to make it let go of those roots so that you can harvest it. Very interesting.
And the other thing that it said was that ginger is a tropical plant native to Asia's hot equatorial areas. It has a long history in Asian cooking, hence why it's in your Asian veggie patch. At
Right.
least 4,400 years, was traded at great expense along the Silk Road throughout the Middle Ages. In the 14th century, a pound of ginger was worth as much as a whole sheep,
I
and it
believe
was
it.
was the first foreign spice to be grown in the New World in 1585. I'm tempted, Dee.
Ginger, I don't think is really hard to grow. I have not done the culinary ginger. I've grown European ginger, which is quite beautiful to grow.
Yeah, I'm
It makes
tempted.
a great plant in pots.
Well, and
Might
she
be fun.
says can be harvested at various stages of growth depending on how you want to use it. It's aside from cooking, ginger is also fabulous for travel sickness and nausea. Ginger plants have small leaves on upright stems and look like small bamboo plants.
I use ginger, like little chunks of it, and I brew it into a tea and drink it when my stomach's upset.
I do like
It
ginger. I
works.
do like ginger tea and ginger
Well, fresh
candy and
ginger, fresh ginger that you just peel and cut up, a little, and you just make a little disc of it. It
uh-huh.
makes a better tea than the dried ginger. It's much, much better.
I would guess they would.
It's good. Deliciousness.
So
Anything else
anyway,
you want to say about ginger? You're like
well,
lost in that book now.
I'm no, the other thing that she says in the veggie patch, Asian
Uh-huh.
veggie patch is um you you want to give them as much time as possible to grow, and she says if you plant it in the spring and harvest it in the summer, the plants only have about 5 months to grow, and the rhizomes will
Right.
be small and not yet fully grown. And she says to forego this, allow them to go through 2 growing seasons before you harvest. So I would
So you need to
imagine,
bring it inside.
yes, or put
And I
it
think,
someplace.
I can't remember her name, but she was the young woman on Gardener's World who was I mean, she looked like she was from India. Remember her? And she
I do
gardened
remember
in
her.
town and then she moved way out where it was cold. She grew ginger too. And I think she said the same thing. So,
Give it a little extra time.
yeah.
Anyway,
You want to do the next quote?
I do. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. Herman Melville.
There's a lot of imitation out there.
Oh, D, there is. I got a well, I got a rabbit hole I didn't write about that. We'll talk about when I get to rabbit holes. But on the bookshelf, do you have it with you, Dee?
Yes, I do.
The Essential Guide to Bulbs by Jenny Rose Carey, which comes out on October the 14th. We're very happy that Timber Press gave us some review copies. And what do you
Mhm.
think? We know Jenny Rose, so be
We
honest.
do know Jenny Rose. Been to Jenny Rose's garden, in fact. Um, I think it's great. I'm
I
sorry.
do
I
too.
was thinking about her
One.
garden.
I took this
I
one to
think,
Garden Club 2 weeks ago.
yeah, was it popular?
It was very popular, and even when we broke for refreshments, usually people have gone through the book and handed it back to me, and people were like, "Can I see that book? Can I see that book?" People loved it. They loved it.
It's a really good book. It's a really good I'm trying to say the word reference.
And you did a
Reference
good job just there.
resource.
It is
Well,
a
I
good.
was my mind was putting the two words together. So, Aranthus, which is on page 68, is one of my very favorite bulbs that you have flower in late winter because it flowers before anything else and it's this glorious sulfur yellow, hugs the ground. You can also make small patches of it here and there. It does naturalize
Uh-huh.
and it's known as winter aconite too. But Aranthus is a great bulb that never gets much press. because it's here and then it's gone. But boy, it is a joy to see when you're tired of winter time.
Oh yeah, it is.
And
Yeah,
everything's
this is
alphabetized in here, so very, very easy to look something up that you want to try.
it is
I
very
bet
easy.
Jenny grows most of these too.
I'm gonna guess that she has grown quite a few of them. Oh, look,
Jenny's read a
there's
bunch of books. I was actually looking to see if I could find a list of all of her books, but I don't see it in here yet. But she's written for everybody, and I do mean everybody.
yes, and so she has rain lilies listed in here as a good plant for
Zephyrintes,
Zephyrinthes, the rain lilies. She's got
Zephyrintes.
information about those in here. She's got, I mean, it's not just the spring flowering bulbs, it's summer flowering bulbs. So there's a lot of good information about lilies in here. There's a lot of, I mean,
But then in the net,
gladiolas.
then when you get to page 221, it's about making your bulb garden more personal and what different styles you can use
Oh
for
yeah,
different things. Like if you want
this,
color themed, or if you want a scented garden,
and you know
you know,
what
different
Jenny's color
things.
theme is always, don't you?
Pink.
Pink.
Jenny wears pink. Jenny loves pink.
Jenny
How
is
would I,
pink, pink,
how would I
pink.
not know that knowing Jenny? She's
Well,
my
yeah.
pink friend.
Yes, but anyway, this is I really think this is a great book, and it's one you put it on your shelf and you pull it out, and when you have a question about a bulbs or when you're just like looking for inspiration, like you said, it's a great book. And so watch for it. It's coming out on October the 14th, and also watch because Jenny is a popular speaker, and so she may
Very
be
popular
coming
speaker.
to a town near you as she goes out and promotes this book. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a Hort symposium at the Newfields Art Museum, and usually in February. I wouldn't be surprised if Jenny Rose wasn't there talking about bulbs. But anyway,
Yeah, she's a very good
that's
speaker.
The
Fun to
Essential
listen
Guide to
to.
Bulbs. Grow a Bounty of Beautiful Bulbs in Gardens and Containers by Jenny Rose Carey. We should also mention she lives in the Philadelphia area, but she is originally
Mhm.
from England.
From the UK.
Okay, quote time.
And it's my turn. The mind, once stretched by a new idea, never returns to its original dimensions. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So
Very
our
good quote.
dirt, you found our dirt.
Well, I found our dirt, and I attended GardenCom had a online symposium, I guess, last week, 2 weeks ago. I can't
Uh-huh.
remember. Time flies. What day is today? It's Sunday. Sunday the
Yeah,
21st as we
Sunday, the
record this.
21st.
So
Yeah.
it's a week and a half ago. But anyway, our friend Phyllis Greikus, who is in the Pittsburgh area, she's a landscape architect. She gave a really interesting talk about light pollution and how it affects not only plants, but also animals and insects when there's too much light around. And it just made you think about how are you doing lighting around your landscape? And
Sure.
so she has a reference called darksky.org. It's not hers, but she referenced
Yeah, it's
darksky.org.
really famous. Darksky.org is.
Yeah, and you can look that up and see, if there's a way to redo your landscape lighting. And like around here, I mean, there's one guy that they have on a spotlight over their pool all
Night
night
long.
long. And then
Hmm.
I keep my back porch light on, and maybe I could switch to a different kind of bulb there.
All of ours are motion sensors.
Yeah, mine are not
So
motion sensors, but I could switch to a different type of bulb, and there's information there about how many lumens, so you can get some lighting so you don't like trip or it looks not very appetizing for burglars to show up, but doesn't harm the insects. But that is why the spiders like to build that nest by the back door because that
sure,
light's
they
on and
like
they're
those
like,
little
"Hey,
gnats.
come on, you little bugs." And there's Miss Spider waiting there. I mean, these things are huge, big as your thumb,
The big
huge.
black and yellow ones, right?
Yes, they're just.
You don't like spiders
I
much, do
don't like
you?
spiders, but I just kind of wipe their web away and kind of flick them away and say, try someplace else.
Oh, see, I love them, so I'm a weirdo. I love spiders.
Well, when you're going out your back door and there's one like 2 inches from your head because it's,
Just get a motion sensor light, it'll stop that.
I know, why don't I just look at the number of lumens? But anyway, we'll leave it to
There
our
you go.
listeners to look at that site. And then if I can find it, Phyllis has, I think on her website, she's got a link to an article she wrote for Horticulture Magazine that I may be able to give to people.
Cool.
All right, quote time. As the alluring song of September begins to whisper in my ear, my passionate spirit yearns for the splendor of its promise. Peggy Tony Horton.
I agree. I love
So far,
September.
summer's whispering, or September's whispering in my ear. Summer, summer, summer. We're still playing summer.
It's pretty nice here today, so I think we're gonna be okay. It's kind of crazy. It's only 78 degrees. Okay, so rabbit holes. I'm still playing that zombie game and it's really fun. I love my alliance. They make me laugh. I did go down a rabbit hole about the pansy worm, the
Uh-huh.
not Gulf fritillary, the variegated fritillary, larval caterpillar. And that's it. What about you?
Well, I went down that little rabbit hole about, it's 81 here, by the way. I just wanted to check. I went down that rabbit hole about calla lilies.
Mm-hmm.
But also I went down another rabbit hole um, about Lost Ladies of Garden Writing, of course, because I wrote one last week. Louise B. Mansfield, very famous
She's,
artist in her time,
yeah.
but she
Hmm.
wrote one book about herbs, so she qualified to be
Okay.
on the list.
Yeah, she does.
Anyway, I'll put a link to that if people are interested. I've also been listening to a book called The Night Gardener by Jonathan Auxier from
I read that
2015.
book. Yeah. Yeah,
It's
it's
very
good.
interesting. A Victorian ghost story with shades of Washington Irving and Henry James about two little Irish siblings who've been abandoned, actually, and they end up as servants at this creepy, crumbling English manor house. And there's a tree that is evil, I guess.
Yeah. The
And
house and the family aren't quite right.
it's, I listened to the audiobook while I started putting together a puzzle, which is way hard, D.
I
Way
got a
hard.
new puzzle too, and it looks hard.
I
People
got this one.
keep giving me these really hard puzzles, and I'm like, no, no, the point of the puzzle is it's supposed to be easy, so I don't have to work too hard.
Well, this one is called Wild Birds of North America.
Oh, it's
And
like that
actually,
butterfly pencil I did. It's very hard, but it's
well,
the
and
same people.
it's by Cobble Hill.
Hmm.
And the problem
Sorry.
is not the problem. Well, it took me all week. Now, I only dibble and dabble at it. I don't really sit down and do much at a time, like when I'm waiting for my tea to steep and things like that. But
Yeah.
it seemed to take me all week to get the border right because it was just all these um,
Hmm.
brown, tannish brown pieces. And
Yeah. I
at one
hate
point,
tannish
I
brown
mean,
or gray.
I
Do you know how
had,
many shades of gray there are?
well, yes, I finally figured out the lines are all going in the horizontal, so that kind of told me this is a side piece and this is either the
Ah,
top or the
good.
bottom.
That helps a lot.
So, and then I went down a tiny rabbit hole because when we were talking about the calla lilies and I found that line from the
Yes.
movie about calla lilies, I thought, what other famous lines from movies about flowers are there? One should
Are
make a
there a
list.
bunch?
I don't know. I don't even know how you'd find them. I guess you could ask one of those AI monsters, hey, can you tell me lines about flowers from movies? But even worse, D, oh my
Uh,
gosh, there is a company that is pumping out AI produced podcasts.
oh Lord.
And so they are putting out like
Can you imagine
thousands of,
how bad those would be?
actually, let me just tell you, they put out thousands a week on a variety of topics. And I listened to like 5 minutes of one by somebody named Nigel Thistledown,
Oh, come on.
Bloom and Banter. And he'll tell you, like in the first minute, he says, I'm AI generated. But, and then he says, I have the
Oh, that's
advantage, I have
weird.
thousands of years of knowledge. And I'm like, oh no.
That you
And,
stole from all the people who wrote it, but okay.
and so anyway, and then even worse in this article, and I'm not even going to put it in the show notes. They talked about how some of these AI generated podcasts that the hosts, quote unquote, in quotes, hosts, could become influencers.
Oh Lord,
And
this is what
that
we need. More
it's,
influencers.
well, these would be AI generated influencers.
I know, which is terrible. That's
I
even
know it's
worse.
terrible. Anyway, watch out for Nigel Thistledown. Bloom and
Okay, I
Banter.
will.
That's actually a pretty good name for a podcast. We should
That's a
have thought of
very good name, but
we should
of
have thought of
course
that one.
they're no, I like ours. Ours is
I do
good.
too.
So I think we should move on to garden commissions.
Okay.
Okay, so I work again this week. I work
Yay.
Wednesday,
Keep her
Friday,
off the streets.
Saturday. Yeah, it's supposed to be cool. Hey, I like it. You know what I really like about it is I told Aaron, I said it's like spending other people's money because I put together all these pots and so does
Uh-huh.
everyone else. And everybody's pots are different because everybody's vision is different and people come in and buy them. So it's just really fun. I also have two garden coaching clients this week, so I'm really busy this week.
You are
And
busy.
then it's supposed to be cooler, so I won't have to worry so much about watering. And then I've got to fix those two drip emitters, and then I need to repot a couple of my plants because I promise you, after you've done 6 or 7 pots at work, you don't really feel like coming home and doing that at your house.
No, no.
So that's what I'm doing.
I remember talking to a horticulturalist, and he said, "Don't make gardening your whole life." In other words, it was hard for him to go home and work on his own garden, but he did.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about your week. What do you
I
got
am
going?
also expecting rain. I mean, they say tomorrow's chance is 70%, so I
Good
am
for you
hopeful
guys.
that we do get rain. So if we get, like they say, then I'm going to go ahead and fertilize the lawn. I got to do some weeding. Start emptying out some containers that are past their prime, like these hanging baskets out front. Probably time to let those go and put the bird feeders back up. And I bought some boot trays and a new light fixture for my garage where I'm going to try to overwinter some pelargoniums and just give them enough to sort of keep them going, but not get them all stretchy and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. And so,
Mm-hmm.
before you know it, Dee, we will be recording again because we're going to record on Thursday next week.
We are because I'm off that day. So can I do our we do not care?
Absolutely.
Okay, here it is. We do not care if you think goldenrod is ugly. We like its yellow flowers, and so do the pollinators.
Excellent. And now I shall wrap us up. Thank you for listening to The Garden Angelist. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single episode. We publish every week on Wednesdays at 12 a.m. Eastern Time.
If you subscribe to our Substack newsletter, you get a link to listen to the podcast a whole day early and links to the products we discuss. Plus, go over to YouTube and see us in person. Full episodes show up on Tuesdays. So, if you can't wait until Wednesday, you now have 2 ways to get episodes on Tuesdays.
Amen. And if you want to help support us, use our affiliate links. If you buy something after clicking through on them, we're in a small commission and it costs you nothing.
Or you can set up a monthly subscription through Buzzsprout, which is who hosts our podcast, or you can make a one-time donation through PayPal. You also have the option of pledging your support on Substack if you'd like.
Thank you to everyone who has done so. It helps us pay for podcast hosting.
It was lovely to chat with all of you over the garden gate. Bye until next week.
Bye, everybody.